ultimately what I'm trying to do is just show you how to use AI. There's some product photography AI apps, and you may have seen this type of thing for creating AI generated videos and whatnot, but there's also apps that you can use to create product photography. And I'm going to start with a handful of images that I shot just outdoors here, just around the house, and a couple images I can use to show you how you can create realistic and I would say somewhat professional images of products should you need that for your business or social media accounts or websites, whatever. And the one that I stumbled across recently, this one is called app.mokker.io, like mock up, I guess. And so I used a couple examples here. I just swiped these images off a website for a potential client that had shot their own images. So these are obviously, you can see they're not ideal. This one right here is like a little bit overexposed and this one's underexposed. The lighting kind of doesn't really match as well. And then it's got like a bowl of the candies here. So whomever shot these photos here, you can see that it's a little inconsistent with the size, the shape, stuff like that. So I just scraped them off their website and uploaded it into their what do you call it, canvas here, and created these scenes or these images here. And here's an example of what you can do with just a basic photo. So you clip out that photo, remove the background, and then you can use AI to generate the theme. So this one says a space themed background, galaxy swirls, meteors, whatever, because the theme of their candy is like rockets. So anyways, you can see here's the first result right here. Let's see if I can zoom in on that for you. So that's one example, and obviously you may want to take the time to clean up the background and erase some of the stuff or tidy it up, but you could see that this is the kind of thing you can do to replace product images quickly and in a couple clicks. So if that's something that interests you, here's an example to do it. And I took a couple shots to compare how the actual photo can affect the end result too. If you shoot the photo in harsh outdoor lighting, or if you shoot the photo in shade or shadow, is going to make a difference too. So these are just some examples of the scenes that you're able to create kind of like drag and drop style. There's the original image down here, and you can see you're just replacing the background. It doesn't do a whole lot at this point for matching the lighting and whatnot. It's kind of more an advanced technique, I think, but for what it is and how it works, it's pretty useful. And you can see that it'll save the iterations of the prompt. So for this one, I wanted oranges because they have orange candy, so I wanted oranges in the scene. But as I'm playing around with it, I'm realizing, okay, it didn't clip the oranges, the lighting on the oranges isn't the same. And these are just some examples that I tried to make, testing it out for the first time. I do like the background and what it did there, that's pretty great. But then adding the fruits and colors and stuff like that was a little bit problematic. So this one, I wanted little chocolate pieces or something else, colorful candy, but then it added chocolate, and these are not chocolate flavored candy, so that didn't work, but I like the idea. So anyways, you can see how that works just by adding in whatever backgrounds and stuff that you want. So for today's example, I got this one, and there's another one I'm going to use right here called Photoroom. I'm going to test this one out here. And in this case, I'm going to go back to the home screen here. I'm going to add my own photos because I just shot some outside here. So I'm going to drag and drop and start from scratch and show you exactly what this thing can do. And it's also worth noting that if you were to check the link in my bio, I am a professional product photographer, and you can look at my website right here and see my work. This is my product photography, videography, whatnot. And you can go to this section right here that shows a lot of the photos, working with reflective objects, working with all kinds of materials can be really difficult. And here's some with reflective objects on models, and here's reflective objects in different lighting scenarios. Now, as a product photographer, this interests me because you can kind of drag and drop stuff right in there quickly. I try to show these videos to show the scope of what's possible without a whole lot of knowledge of lighting and caustics and reflection, refraction, stuff like that, to the people that maybe don't want to study photography or lighting or things like this. So this does give a drag and drop solution for the most part for a lot of these product photography setups. So depending what you're shooting here, this one has templates, and you can do food, outdoor, home studio, flat lays, there's jewelry, but it's not ideal. So in this case, I want to show you a couple examples I did. I shot a jar a bottle of supplements, and then also like a cardboard box of water. And so I'm going to try to choose a template and just pop that in there and see how that works. And I think these are updating all the time. So this particular app has updates and has new features, and there's probably new templates developing all the time, just like Canva, Adobe Express and stuff like that, where things are constantly moving around here. So I kind of like this swimming pool one here, and I'm just going to click on that and upload a product photo to show you just how simple this is and how much time it can save you, especially if you don't know Photoshop or you're not familiar with how to edit photos or do anything like this. Pretty simple. So basically I just chose this template here with the water. And then another thing to consider is how you shot your photo. For example, if you shot it on the ground, if it's a flat lay, if you shot it looking up, what type of lighting is on there is really going to affect how that image looks as far as photorealism. So I'm going to upload a photo here and I have it saved. Let me just drag this off screen and I have it saved here. Give me 1 second. Here we go. And you can just drag it in there. Now I'll pull it on screen for a second just to show you there's a variety of ways that I shot these photos, because I know using these lighting techniques and AI, it may not yield the best result. That's why I shot it in different ways here. So you can see here's one, if it goes to the preview, here's one harsh lighting at like a 45-degree angle from the front, shot almost at eye level. Here's one in shadow, straight on. Here's a flat lay with harsh lighting. Here's a flat lay with soft lighting. And then here's another straight on shot with soft lighting. And then the capsule one, I shot this one indoors, so it's not natural light with indoor lighting, just to show the variables of where you're going to place this photo in a scene, what makes the most sense. Now for this one right here, we've got a pool and it looks like hard lighting because it's outdoor, it's not diffused. So again, this is why I've shot these images in such a way, because I know how it should integrate and interact with these images right here to make it look believable and realistic. So I would choose this one right here because that matches the scene the best. And again, you always want to shoot stuff in camera as much as possible. And this one right here matches closely to the scene right here that I want it to be superimposed into. So I'm going to just choose this one here and see how it works. So if you're trying to do this thing for yourself, keep that in mind. Whatever you're shooting, try multiple angles, try multiple different lighting scenarios. And then when you pop them in there, you're going to see that one fits better than the other, because if it's utilizing this image right here, this lighting is going to try and match whatever the background is. That's the key takeaway right there. So I'm going to pop this one in, let it upload and see what happens. Okay, here's the prompt right here. Now it has like basically effects where you can add. So we saw the image of the pool and the I don't want to say caustics, but we saw the reflection of the water. So now it's already popped that image into the scene right where it thinks it needs to go. This box right here, this pedestal, you can move this thing around here, and depending on what you have and what product or what object is there, you're going to be able to move this thing around and position it depending on what it is and what makes sense. So by default, it's left to right here, which I think is okay. But you saw the original image and you saw what that looks like. And there's a lot of different things you can change here. So for the props and things like that, you can go in here, add layers, add materials and different things to kind of move this thing around. But for what it is, I think it's in the right place. Now the prompt just says right here, swimming pool. Okay, we saw what the prompt is. Now you can add or take away. So for example, if you wanted that water, if you wanted the pool water to be purple, perhaps you could probably type in purple water here, something like that. So the prompt works just like an AI prompt would in ChatGPT or otherwise or anything. And then the effects, you can add these styles in here. So you go to add style. Now it's taking from a template, which is basically going to prompt it and say, oh, what's the style? It's a very soft wedding feel with overexposed highlights, or what's the material. And you can add these things in and pop them in, because it's basically setting that prompt up for you for the image. Now a lot of this stuff is trial and error. You have to kind of tweak and finagle it a little bit to kind of get exactly what you want. But again, this is hopefully trying to save you a lot of time by knowing exactly what you want and placing it in there. So again, you could go to props. So for example, if this water is elderberry, you could go over to props, let it load, and you can search for fruits and just type in fruit or maybe elderberry to begin with. And what it's going to do is generate from a library. So we got fruit here, passion fruit, mixed fruit, dragon fruit, grapes, and I'm not seeing elderberries, but if we found some berries, we could probably drag it to the scene right here. Click it on the scene, and then we can move this thing around. You can scale it up. Again, this thing's a little buggy, and it takes there's a lot of lag to it, and so it doesn't work immediately as you would expect it to sometimes. And I'm not sure why that is, but it does work. Sometimes you may have to delete things from the scene or click away from it in order to get it to work. But that's just been my experience. When you click on something, it seems like there's an issue with the overlap or something not allowing you to kind of move this stuff around. But anyway, let me just see if I can undo that, because I think I can just hit redo or undo somewhere. Back here maybe, because I noticed that the first time I'm using it is that there's no undo or redo button, so I had to start from scratch. But anyways, you get the idea. So what I'll do is I'll try to get this grapes out of here and then generate an image. Close that, because again, see, it's not letting me click on the grapes to delete them, and then I can't really move this pedestal. So there's something funky about this, but going into it knowing that is what the problem is, you can kind of mitigate that. But I think what I did is just had to go back to the home page and then click on the project again. That fixed it. So for whatever reason, it thinks this is yogurt. Okay, so now it's giving me other options for this jar here, and showing me other templates and other styles. So I'm just going to skip that. Let's see if the grapes are still in there. Okay, there's my image. Okay, now it's starting from scratch here, and I wanted to use the template of the pool, and somehow that disappeared. So I'm going to start again. There it is right there. Okay, I like this one, and that's a good reason I shot the flat lay image, because I could probably utilize this one too. But anyways, we're going to choose this one here. I'll just hit replace. Okay, now we're back to basics here, and I'll go ahead and just generate this image so you can see what that looks like and see how it blends this box into the background here. Now again, they give you an amount of credits per month, and so I guess it's like 1 credit per photo that you generate, so that's something to consider too. As much as you love to keep playing with these things and clicking all around, this, whatever credits you have on your account is going to dictate how many of these you can do. So here's the result here without the fruit. This is just the basic result. You can see that's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. At least the lighting matches, right? And it's similar. The shadows here are a bit distracting, at least to my eye, because it looks like there's a single direction light source. You can see the shadows up here pointing down this way. So whatever, there's a wall or a fence of bushes or something, shadows are going this way. So what I tried to do is match the shadows in the background photo to the object here, and maybe create some fake shadows here on the bottom. Ultimately, when I shot this photo from where I am in Southern California at this time of day, the shadows are behind this cup or this box here. So basically the light source, you could see that there's some shadow up here, but it actually should be over here. I mean, most people wouldn't even notice that. To the untrained eye, it may not make a huge difference if that shadow is off slightly. Maybe it's supposed to be back angled this way. But what do you think? That looks pretty good. Does it look realistic? Does it look usable? If you had this this product to sell, would you use it on your website? Would you use it on your social media so you could have a picture of that next to a pool without actually having to go shoot at a pool and have these props and stuff like that? That's the whole idea here. So pretty decent. I think it's not bad. Let's do another one. I like the flat lay one here of the whatever that is, that bottle and the water here, kind of like that. So what I'm going to do is use this one with another image that I created. Now this is only my second or third time using this app here, so if I were to click that, I think it replaces each board. And again, the UI and how you use these apps kind of make a difference too. If you like Photoshop because you're used to it, you know how to use it, that's one thing, and then having to learn another app and another interface kind of can slow you down too. So what I'll do is I'll make a new project. I'll close this one out, go back to the home page. I'll create a new project here, product. So it'll create like a new scene, and it's going to save all these every iteration. You can delete these things. I'll keep that one, I'll delete this one, to save some space and keep it tidy. But basically I like that pool scene, so I'm going to upload another photo here. So now I'm going to upload the other one of the flat lay. Again, this is why I shot, here's one flat lay in hard lighting, because for a scene like that pool or something like that, it's going to be like that hard lighting. Here's one that's in shadow, and you can see if this is going to match the background, it's going to look more believable and realistic depending on how you shoot these things to begin with, regardless of what it is, the natural lighting on that product. So if you're shooting this thing in your bathroom and it's got dingy orange lights, that's going to make a difference too. So I'm going to choose this one right here because I like how this looks. I might have to rotate it around, and then I guess it's going to give me some ideas of what it thinks a good template for this one would be. Let's take a look. I like the pool one, but I'm not seeing it there, so I'll just hit skip, and then it's going to bring it onto the canvas here, and it's going to extract the background automatically. So there you go. And to me, it's unusual why they removed the shadows there. I guess it depends on what scene you're putting it into, but it did clip this entire product and remove the shadows altogether automatically at step one. So let's see, the next thing I'm going to do, you can either enter a prompt here and type in what you want it to be and you know what the background wants to be. I like the pool scene, so I want to choose that one because that caught my eye. Tennis court, okay, that's cool. I'm looking for the pool now. Water ripples, okay, let's see. So the lighting, it's natural sunlight. So again, it's a template, sort of a preset, and knows what prompt to tell the AI software to generate. So we got, start off with lighting. Natural sunlight is, you know, single source light, hard shadow. It's not like this cloudy or diffuse or soft light, or it's not indoors or studio light or anything like that. So that's going to match better. The location, I want the pool water ripples here, and then the style, I'm going to choose summer because I think that might just add like a warm tinge to it or something. Just see what happens here. And then theme and material, I don't think these are applicable in this instance here, so I'm just going to choose these three. It says select up to 4, but I'll just leave it at 3 and see what happens. And then if I can add fruit here, let me just generate this one, then I'll add the fruit later. Let's just see what happens with this one. So I'm going to leave the prompt blank for now and then just see what happens and then go from there. And then there is a setting up here where you can choose 1 photo at a time or like 4. So if you're crunched for time and you want to try using this thing, it'll generate like Mid-Journey or something. It'll generate like 4 at a time. And I just like to do 1 at a time because that's just my process. So here it is, we're generating the image. Looking good so far. Okay, so there we go, that's 1. Okay, I didn't ask for the leaves and stuff in there, but maybe that's a little distracting. This one, what do you think? Is it good? Is it bad? Does it suck? It's not bad. I think I would probably get rid of these leaves, or maybe change that. That's a little distracting. And then put like, if that is elderberries or grapes, I'll put this grapes in there, see if I can get the grapes to float or something maybe. But that's not bad. I don't know. It's decent. I'll try again with these, with the props here, and that's what that's for. I'll just try to put some fruit in the water and see what happens. And then I'm going to delete this one that says summer, because maybe that summer is where it's getting the leaves and the other stuff from. Let's see what happens. And then I'm going to add the props here for fruit, trying to find some berries. So again, this is like a templatized system, drag and drop, pretty simple. Once you figure out what's going on here and have a good idea of how to get this thing going, it's kind of fun. But ultimately, the whole idea is like, can it save you time? Here's some berries. Can it save you time? Can you use it in your workflow? Is it gonna be more efficient than having to schedule an outdoor photo shoot, or does it suck? I don't know. That's why I'm trying to figure out by playing with this stuff if it's gonna work or not, or how good it is, so you can decide for yourself. So again, for whatever reason, you drag and drop this on the canvas, it has a difficult time allowing you to move it the second time. I don't know if it's a Flash JavaScript error or something, I don't know. But so for me, I'm just going to kind of place it here once and then one and done, because You can see it's got the bounding box and some other options, but for whatever reason, it doesn't let you move it. So you have to be real careful about that. Maybe it's because I use Brave browser, I don't know. So I got that in place here, add some fruit, and let's just generate another photo, see what happens. So this one looks like it's at the beach actually, and some berries on the sand, which is surprising because I thought the berries would be floating, but that's interesting. I wouldn't say it's realistic, and you can definitely tell it's AI because that's actually in a wave, which is weird because that's a flat lay shot, so the perspective is a little weird. But hey, this is AI. This is kind of how this stuff works. It's like either trial and error or figuring out like how to write your prompt so you don't get these weird goofy results. But again, if it's creative work or something like that, you may enjoy it as a hobby, and you may like to play around with these type of things and figure stuff out like this. I don't know. These are the other options here. I'm just going to delete that fruit. So again, every one of these fruit has a preset, and sometimes it has a background, sometimes it won't remove the background, and you can go through their templates of all these different props that they have to put in here. You could try to add your own prompt. Let's just see what happens if I just type in berries floating on water. I don't want to tweak the prompt too much based on what's already there, but let's just see what happens and generate another photo. Again, this stuff's like trial and error, and then once you find a prompt that works, you sometimes gotta copy and paste it or save it. Oh yeah, much better, much better. So that is pretty, I mean, I like it. This, I would kind of see if I can get rid of these rocks or this reflection of these pebbles in the water. But other than that, I think it looks pretty good. What do you think? Is that passable as a commercial product photo for a website or something? I think it might be. And I didn't specify berries, so it's got like it looks like that's a strawberry and a raspberry here, but it's actually purple, like elderberries or grape or something. But I think this is not bad, and especially if you don't know how to shoot product photography and it's not your forte, this could definitely work. Let's just try one more. Let's just see if I just typed in purple berries or elderberries. Mounting on the water, and then it doesn't seem to have any negative prompt here like most of the AI software does, where you can really fine tune and dictate like negative prompts and other things like that. But for now, just keep it simple and just see if this works. But you get the idea. If you use AI, you know what I'm talking about. But otherwise, I think they just try to keep this real simple, so you can just drag and drop and move stuff around without having to know how to prompt, basically. So let's just see what this one does. And then I was thinking if I did a negative prompt, I could remove this pebbles and rocks on the water here. But let's see what the berries do first, and if that works, then I'll remove the prompts or the pebbles or stones in the water by changing this section here maybe. Okay, the berries, it definitely put in blackberries and different color berries, but then it also changed the background, and then it did this weird reflection on the water here of these berries, which I didn't ask for. But it does look cool. It's not realistic though, because I mean, obviously, like, how could these leaves and berries be behind this floating on water and this be on top of it? That doesn't really make sense from physics standpoint, but you get what I'm saying. So anyways, the whole idea is that if you wanted to keep the background the same, there's no way really to keep that seed. In other AI tools, you can have a seed, and if you lock in that same seed prompt, it doesn't show up with just random background. So if basically what I'm getting at is, if you had this photo here and you want to just change out the product or change out the flavors, it would be really hard to recreate the scene. Otherwise, I guess, okay, so here's a button here, maybe that keeps the same seed, and if you were to recreate the scene using a different fruit or a different colored bottle or something like that, maybe that would lock in that seed and keep that background. Let's try it. Recreate scene. That's the same prompt. Let's just see what happens. I'm curious. Oh, this one looks different actually. Oh, okay. So this is what I'm talking about. This is a little difficult, and until I figure out if there's a way to do it, it doesn't look like it gives you that option. Because imagine you had this scene and you want to put, maybe the next flavor is orange and you want to have oranges in the water. Well, how could you keep that same background and be consistent if it wants to recreate that same scene and give you this one right here? So every photo is going to look different. This one looks pretty cool, but again, you know what I'm saying? If you want to be consistent and change out the colors and change out the fruit, and it's going to change these backgrounds every single time. And on this app, I don't see a particular way to lock that in and keep that seed the same. But that's basically what I was trying to get at, to see, okay, is it easy to use? Is it simple? What are the features? Because if you did this in Photoshop or another app or something, it's very easy to keep the same background on layers, and you can keep everything organized and lock in those backgrounds. So that's pretty cool. All right, so the other thing I wanted to show today is another app. So once you get the idea of how this one works, we've done a couple samples on it, so you can see how that works here. I have another product I wanted to shoot, and it's a bottle of supplement for zinc, magnesium, and there's another app. So the other app is called Photoroom, app.photoroom.com. And this proposes to be the same type of thing in a little different way here. So again, let's go to the basics here. I'm going to create. Very similar. And this one, again, they try to make it easy, because if people are not high-end professional product photographers, they make it as simple as possible with this user interface. It's very similar to the Mokker app that I was just using, this one right here, but in a little different way, because it allows you to add more text. I sort of use this one for print on demand sometimes, for print on demand products, that I have a couple of these apparel or merch stores with just print on demand. But this one is more catered to like e-commerce, where you can add text, add some graphics to it, and then post on social media. Don't know if this one allows you to upload directly from this app here, but I think that is the primary difference, is that this one right here is more focused on, let's see here, here's a product, scenes, let's see. Yeah, I believe this one doesn't allow you to add any text or layers or anything like that. This is strictly the photos here. So there's the one we chose to begin with, the swimming pool, and then these are the scenes and templates and stuff like that. You get the idea. However, this other one right here allows you to manipulate your photos using AI, and then also, in addition, add text and other designs, and has other features, kind of like maybe you don't have to go to Canva, or maybe you don't have to go to Illustrator, Photoshop, or the next step or something. So it's kind of adds all those things in there for you. It tries to be more useful, which is cool. So this one, anyways, we're going to start with this one here just as an example to compare the two, because on this one we can look and see at our scenes where this product here, this water, and so let's just take that same photo and let's just see what results we get using that same image here of this water. So I'm going to go to this one right here. Let's see. Now this one, it has some templates, but the process is like a little bit different here. So let's just see what happens. We start from scratch and use, what photo was it? This one right here. So we got hard lighting outdoors with our water bottle. We'll upload that one just to compare and contrast how they work. So this, again, immediately it'll remove the background here. So I think that there's your option right there. It already clipped it. So within a second of uploading it, you got the white background there. You can pop that out. And now you can choose your own background or what kind of templates you can use. Actually, now that I'm get to this stage, I see there's text right up here. So that's kind of interesting, but I haven't played with that too much. So the template, let's just see what happens. Do they have a pool template for the other one? Let's just type in pool or water. Let's see what we get. So again, the interface is a little bit different, but I'm not seeing anything. I did type in pool, right? Yeah, summer fashion. So so here's one, and this one looks like it's a straight on angle though, not a 45 or a quarter turn right. So that might not work, but we could try it. So I'm just looking for the pool because I want something with that summer vibe and that summer aesthetic to kind of match. There's a beach one. Maybe just type in water and see what happens. There's a flat lay, the beach stuff. That one's pretty cool. So I'm not seeing anything that matches the same kind of 45-degree pool. They got a bunch of beach stuff, which is interesting. I kind of like that because I love the beach. That one looks pretty good, but you know, I'm not seeing the one that they have for the pool, and I did type in water and pool. I'm not seeing that much, so I guess what I'll just have to do is maybe choose one of these ones here. That's a pro. I didn't upgrade to pro yet because I'm not sure about this software, but if you see one that you like, let me know. I'll try to use it and see, get some similar result. That one's similar without this palm tree, but the angles are all wrong. Maybe, I guess I'll just try it and see what happens. I'll click on this one here, hit apply new template. Let's see, you might lose some of your changes. All right, well, let's see what happens. Okay, yeah, so you got a big ass palm frond blocking the product here, but am I grabbing the right thing? Okay, now on this one, you can move all these props around compared to this other one here. Again, I don't know what the issue is when you drag props on the screen. You're supposed to be able to move them around, but sometimes they're locked and they're stuck in place. So this one, this palm frond here, and get this thing out of the way, put it over here. I do like how this is adjustable. You can rotate this thing, you can click on it, drag it. To me, this is more useful than the other one. If that other one worked, you know, you can rotate it. There's just layers. So this is pretty interesting to me. I like this. You can actually move the product around. You can see the shadows moving with it. That's pretty cool. As far as like e-commerce and stuff, you could probably add your text down here. Let's see, you could choose for this one, you know, I was looking for something that has that somewhat script, like serif style font here. Maybe that one would work here. I don't know, but you could put something in here, new flavor, elderberry, something like that, and then change the color to match the bottle. Use the eyedropper here, get that purple going. Maybe add a outline to it or something. You get the idea. So this to me is pretty useful. And again, this one, I haven't used this app before, and I'm just experimenting, playing around with it and trying to see if it's something that I would use in my professional work or my clients' work or anything like that. So I'm just looking to see what options there are and how this stuff works. So thanks for joining me and checking it out for yourself. If you want to check it out, this one's called app.photoroom.com. Try it for yourself, see what you think. The other one is called app.mokker.ai. And so now, what are the other options here? Let's see what this looks like. Outline. That looks horrendous, but there's some options here to adjust the stroke here. Okay, so basically it's taking a bunch of actions that you would normally do in Photoshop or Illustrator here and kind of just like allowing them to be simple user interface with just a click of a button here. And then so that's what that one does. Reflection, let's see what this does. Okay, so basically depending what table it's on, that doesn't make sense to have a reflection on a marble like that, or maybe a stone or something because the properties of that stone. But if that were a glass, you can kind of see, all right, well, you want to change the angle, warp this thing around. That is cool. Like I know how to do that in Photoshop. That's a pretty simple thing, but just the fact that they have a slider and a UI right here to be able to adjust that, that's pretty cool. Then you can move this thing around. Okay, that's neat. The other app doesn't have that. As far as I know, this app over here doesn't have these kind of adjustable and fine-tuning options here, unless maybe that's a pro feature or something like that I'm not aware of, but I think that's cool. Let's see what else. On the object, it looks like you're able to adjust lighting. Let's see. Yep, you can. Okay, so then now that looks like it's just basically enhancing the S-curves. Maybe you can see how it's adding that light artificially, and it's just basically adjusting the highlights maybe and like the shadows and kind of boosting that to make it look like it's outdoor light, I guess. But again, they looks like they just try to make all this stuff simple so you can do things in a click of a button here and there. The font, let's see, what does the blur do here? That's for the object. Okay, so maybe if there's an instance that you wanted to blur it, it has that option too. You can add filters, it looks like, you know, simple. Textures, not sure why you would want to add that, but you have the option right there. and then this is still moving the image around, things like that, retouching. Maybe that's like the brush tool, but anyway, you shoot this thing correctly, you're not going to have to use all this stuff. So that's for the object. That looks okay. And then as far as the text and other stuff here, what are the options? We have a slew of text to use. You just have a couple. There's quite a bit. There's quite a bit of text here. Fonts and styles to choose from here. So that's pretty good. There's actually a whole bunch. So you're not limited there. And then you got all your typography tools right here. You can move stuff around, change the colors, size, all that stuff, simple. And then what else do we have here? AI shadows and resize. Not sure what the AI shadows is, but obviously it's gonna want me to upgrade here. See how much this stuff is. 7-day free trial, $12 a month. So just something to keep note of. That's about $12 a month. The other one, actually, I forgot how much this one is. I think it's similar. This one is $50 a month. Well, that's for the team. So basically, annually, this thing is going to be $160 per year, which is almost twice. So monthly, $20 a month. So yeah, this one is basically $20 a month, and this one is, what do we say, $10 a month for this one. And this one seems to be the better option or best for your money because it has a lot of these features here. Again, I like this one. And then the shadows I didn't notice, but the shadows for the palm tree, I'm wondering if that's burned in to the image of the background here, because again, if you move the palm fronds or the branches here, that would make a difference on what that shadow looks like or where that shadow is supposed to be, right? So that's one thing I'm curious about. Okay, move this over here. Obviously it doesn't make sense, right? The sunlight should be coming from top down this way. But anyways, I'm just nitpicking here. So this one's pretty good. I like it. And then I want to see what happens if I can duplicate maybe, and then turn this next one into a template. So that's a good starting point. And then if you had a client that was looking for some options, at least is what I'm thinking with this one. If you have a product or something that's, hey, there's orange, there's cherry, there's lime, you could just set up a template like this, save yourself a lot of time, turn it into a template. If I duplicate it, let's see what happens. It's going to create another layer. Okay, now for example, this one, if this were lime or something, how easy would it be to just go back in here and say, hey, this one's now lime, then change the colors, add that other photo of the green one. Or you probably could change the colors in here, but obviously the label is going to say something else, but you get the idea. And then if you were to change this, maybe you could have limes or something on the actual concrete instead of the plant. And let's just see what happens. Let's get rid of that and see if we can add a lime in here. Does it have props? Here we go. Drop or select the image so you can shoot other products and add stuff in there. And I guess it would kind of create layers. And then it's got a bunch of icons and things here. We're looking for fruit, so I'm going to click on this section here that says fruit. Here's a lime right there. And then this one has, I kind of like this one because the thumbnails are more descriptive. Again, we go to the app Mokker one, and you can see this one is just like a sketch drawing. It's not bad. It's just, I'm wondering why they did it this way, because it's kind of hard to they use like an outline pencil contour or something. But this one I think maybe is like, hey, that's more descriptive. You know what you're going to get before you click on it. So here's flat lay fruit or something compared to like a sliced open 45-degree angle. But anyway, it's not bad. I'm going to choose the limes and see what happens here and click that. Kind of move it around on my stage. Yes, I could scale it. Pretty simple. Now, there's no shadow. There's no contact shadow here yet, unless there's a button for that. And then also, to me, the lighting and the color doesn't really match that well. And again, if you were shooting this, if I were shooting this thing, again, you know, if you're just joining there, I am a product photographer, and I would have props and things like that when I'm shooting something, because it's in the scene and it's lit in that same scene. That's going to be realistic. But again, we're using AI tools, so we're going to put these limes in here. That stands out like a sore thumb, in my opinion. So you need to have a contact shadow or something that holds it to the ground. Otherwise, it's just going to forever look like it's kind of floating in space there, like it does. So is there option for this thing to have its own shadow? Let's see. Fruit. Let's see what happens here. Turn the shadows on. It's very nuanced, like, oops, grabbed the wrong layer. There is a shadow. Let's see if we can adjust it because it's very nuanced. If I adjust the intensity, yeah, you can see it put a drop shadow behind it. I'm going to turn it on and off so you can see the difference. So it's okay, at least it's something. Now let's see what happens. The distance, if I can move the shadow, drag the shadow around and move it in 2 dimensions or 3 dimensions. So I don't have anything to click on here. Oh, there we go. Yep. So this is like using a blending style in Photoshop, sort of. You can drag it a long shadow, short, move this thing global, lighting angle. And if we know how we shot this image, the light is coming from up top, diagonal down this way, right? There should be a shadow behind it on this side. So all we're going to do is just match the same angle. And then the other thing it's doing without me touching it, the further I drag it away, the softer that shadow gets. And the closer that shadow is, the harder it is. It's doing that automatically, which is good. But you can see, okay, yeah, so maybe if we wanted to have the shadow like this to match whatever else is in our scene, to go in the same direction, it looks more realistic. But again, I don't think these limes match the same lighting as the bottle. So it's okay, it's just something. And just looking to see what else they have here. That's for the objects. I guess that's the AI shadows, or maybe this is something else. So you can see how this one works. You have some features up here, and the user interface works a little differently than this one that has it on the side with a little different kind of user interface and stuff like that. The other thing I'm noticing up here is comments. So if you're going to work with a team, and you're going to send this over to your client or send this over to somebody you're working with, you could tell them to kind of retouch the limes, something like that. And then you go back and forth and kind of keep all this thing in one area here, which is kind of nice, I guess. But so if you like what you've seen so far and these videos are informative and entertaining to you, feel free to follow my YouTube channel, hit the like button, subscribe, and so on. And then I also have the same content mirrored on Rumble if you prefer that platform. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.